student fees demo in London ends in violence. The university chaplain seeks Bible apology from the rugby club. And Winchester graduates are facing a bleak jobs market this year. Good afternoon, welcome to Winchester News Online. I'm Paul Carrett. Leading the bulletin tonight, the biggest student protest for years rocks London amid scenes of violence and accusations of government hypocrisy. Madeline Clipple was there.
Chanting, marching and beating drums, 50,000 students poured into central London today in the biggest and angriest demonstration for years. What ensued was an array of anger that left the facade of the Tory headquarters shattered. And US President Aaron Porter spoke of the need to fight against what he called the stinking hypocrisy of the new government.
I don't think it's right that we will sit back and watch the student contribution treble in front of our eyes while state funding is just simply withdrawn. We want this to be a peaceful process. That's exactly what we've signed up for. And actually, if students go on to be violent, that is a matter for the police, and we will have to hand it over to them.
What started out as a friendly demonstration for students and tutors' right has now turned into an angry riot here in London. This is Madeline Clipple, Winchester News Online, London.
Students from the University of Winchester also attended the march, but anger over tuition fees is not limited to students. A senior Labour politician admitted that the university would be hit hard. Stuart Appleby reports.
Winchester students made their way to London today to demonstrate against the government's increased higher education tuition fees. Thousands of students gathered from across the country following the coalition's implementation of the Lord Browne Review, seeing fees potentially reach £9,000 per year. The Shadow Business Secretary believes it will have a devastating impact on Winchester.
Universities like Winchester will lose nearly all of their income, so they'll have no money coming in at all unless they can attract the students prepared to pay these new higher fees. It's the wrong way to do it. There shouldn't have been such deep cuts, and then you wouldn't have had to have fees so high.
Winchester Student Union say they will continue to fight the fee hikes following the demonstration.
It does personally make me angry, obviously representing Winchester students, angry in the sense that, you know, in the Liberal Democrats have signed the pledge to say they vote against tuition fees, so I mean, promises are there to be kept, so if they've signed a pledge then they should vote against it.
So Seb, what is Winchester Student Union's next step?
There are a few actions next week in terms of going out in the town, protesting peacefully in terms of the town and getting more of the local community involved. One
local coalition minister believes the package being offered benefits students.
Well, I think it's been a very tough decision for us to take, obviously, and the real issue has been around how do we try, in very difficult circumstances with the budget deficit, how do we try to ensure that we can go on having a lot of university places and at the same time pay for those in the fairest possible way. But I think the package that we've finally agreed is one that basically, first of all, funds university places so that there will be places for people to go to. And secondly, it provides guarantees to students that if when they graduate they don't earn as much as they were expecting, then actually they will be protected.
A statement from the University of Winchester said the university are currently considering their position on tuition fees, but they will not have to make a decision on what to charge until next summer. Stuart Appleby, Winchester News Online.
The chaplain has called for an apology from the university rugby team following the desecration of a Bible during a student night at the Union. Andrew Giddings has this one.
The incident took place here in the Student Union, where members of the university rugby team were drinking and having fun on graduation night, dressed as priests and carrying a Bible.
At the end of the night, there was evidence of a torn-up Bible on the dance floor. Members of the men's rugby team admitted that they were involved in tearing up of it, although they didn't mean it in a malicious way, so the team were given a venue ban.
However, Chaplain Phil Dykes thinks that a ban from the Student Union is just not enough.
I think by giving them a light response, a light punishment if you like, means almost in a sense we are ducking our responsibilities. I suppose I was disappointed. I'm disappointed in the rugby players, really. There is some talking needs to be done between them and someone else, maybe me and the Student Union.
But members of the rugby team feel that their punishment is adequate.
I think it definitely was harsh enough. 10-week suspension from the event for damage to the Bible. We had no intention of upsetting or hurting anyone's feelings. we regret what we did, but I think we've paid for our mistakes. What we did was wrong, and we accept that.
I think there is a way forward, and I won't hold it against them. But I do think if I were to say it's okay, it doesn't matter, you can carry on, you know, let's all forget it, let's forgive and forget, I don't think that's the answer either.
So what is the answer? Further meetings are scheduled between the people involved, but as it stands, no further action is to be taken against the team. Andrew Giddings for Winchester News Online.
Graduate unemployment has reached its highest level in 17 years. Our business correspondent, Julie Cordier, looks at the effect on Winchester students.
Students are once again victim of a bad economy. Figures show that just under 9% of 2009 graduates were unemployed last January. But Winchester University advised students not to give up.
It's obviously a tricky employment situation at the moment for many graduates, but lots of our graduates do very well. The recent information that's been in the press about the numbers of graduates being unemployed is obviously worrying. Students shouldn't listen too carefully. Well, they should listen carefully to the news, but not take it all with a pinch of salt, because there definitely are jobs out there.
A former Winchester student has been struggling for months to find a job. Despite getting a 2-1 degree in journalism and media last June, he's still unemployed.
I'm looking for absolutely anything, sort of labouring work, shop work, anything that's going. I feel like I'm more than capable of doing a whole variety of different jobs, and I don't think it's fair that I should come out and have such difficulty trying to find something that I would enjoy and that I could make a career out of.
But graduates should remain positive, and the Association of Career Advisors has declared that the recent figures are out of date and that the situation has considerably improved since last year. Julie Cordier, Winchester News Online.
Now here's Lucy Pilgrim with your sport.
Thanks, Paul. Winchester City welcomed Brading Town to the Denplan Stadium as the Capitals look to keep up their challenge for the Wessex Premier League title. Mikey Smith was there.
Winchester were held by Britain, but the Romans' comeback was instant. Scott Lawson somehow beating his namesake O'Rourke from fully 30 yards. City, though, regained the lead before the break, Martin Beck getting his name on the scoresheet. Brading levelled the game once more in the second half, Carl Aron eventually finding the net after O'Rourke had denied Lawson and Scott Jones. But Nathan Inch almost grabbed a dramatic winner, but it just wasn't to be on this day.
Sorry for technical difficulties we've had there. After Eastleigh's heartbreaking FA Cup defeat to Woking, the Spitfires were hoping to bounce back in the league as they welcomed Boreham Wood to Silver Lake Stadium. A defeat for the visitors would see them sink to the bottom of the table. Will Cooper saw the action.
Their impressive run at the start of this season on Saturday with a thumping win over lowly Boreham Wood. Boreham had only won once all season and got off to a nightmare start. Tony Taggart heading in after just 2 minutes. The visitors had only scored 4 away all season, but almost got level soon after. Mario Noto with this cross-goal effort. The golfing class became clear as Eastleigh boxed the away side in, and the Spitfires got their just rewards when Richard Gillespie stormed through for his 4th of the season. 2-0 after just 16 minutes. The home side had countless efforts on goal, but Boreham's resistance was not broken again until the 53rd minute. Chris Holland heading in a Taggart corner. Eastleigh are now just 3 points off the playoffs, but Boreham's defeat sees them sink to the bottom of the table.
That's your sport. Now back to Paul.
Thanks, Lucy. And finally, this weekend saw the Winchester Round Table bonfire and firework display in the city centre. WINOL was there to watch the events unfold.
Winchester Round Table put on the biggest fireworks display the city has ever seen on Saturday night.
It's a unique occasion in Great Britain, and it's a fabulous night in Winchester. The fact that we do the torchlit procession beforehand just creates a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere.
Thousands of people joined the torchlit procession, which was led by the brass band along the High Street, through the city centre and onto River Park. The display is an important annual event for Winchester.
Very good thing for Winchester, and I think it, as I read in the papers, we had a lot more people than Southampton did, which, and we're obviously population-wise not as big as Southampton, so it just shows you how popular it is.
The night proved to be a massive success for local charities, raising £57,000 in total.
It's always local charities, which is the main thing. and if they have raised that amount of money, because all of what they raise goes to the charities, which is another thing.
The 2010 bonfire fireworks evening has been the best we've ever run.
Amy Pickering, Winchester News Online.
That's all from me now, but earlier our entertainment editor Kaylee James caught up with the one and only Chesney Hawkes.
Well, Chesney Hawkes is playing an acoustic set at the Railway Inn tonight from 8 p.m, and I'm joined by him now. So, Chesney, where have you been all this time?
Would you like a day-by-day account from 1991? We could be here all night.
In general, where have you been? What have you been doing with yourself?
Well, these days I'm a songwriter. It's kind of my trade these days, writing and producing for different acts, but, you know, still touring around, making music, having children.
You're often labelled as the one-hit wonder of the 90s. What sort of shift has your music taken since then?
Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty much a similar kind of. I mean, I'm very kind of pop sensibilities is what I'm about. You know, guitar-based pop. You know, left to my own devices. But then again, I work with all sorts of different types of artists, like from country to punk to pop, and you know, my own stuff tends to be either piano-based pop or guitar-based. So you have to come down to tonight to check it out.
Nice plug there.
Thanks. Do you like that?
When
I did there.
I do. When you made it big with the one and only in 1991, how did that feel?
Oh, it was amazing. It was kind of a dream,
Must
really.
have been a lot of parties being in your 20s.
Yes, it was. No, not that I can remember any of them, of course. No, it was like being in the eye of a storm, really. It was kind of a complete madness. You know, different country every day, and kind of every boy's dream, really.
I was reading on your blog that your father was in a band. He's been in a band since the 60s, hasn't he?
I have a blog?
Yeah, well, your webpage. That must have been an interesting childhood.
Yeah, and my dad was the lead singer of a band called the Tremolos, and they had like 15 top 10 hits in the 60s, so they were kind of big stars.
There was a big party scene when you were growing up in your house.
Yeah, it's just parties my whole life, isn't it, really? Yeah, I mean, my household was kind of guitars propped up in every corner, and you know, and all my dad's mates were all 60s stars, and so yeah, very much so. It was they're old hippies, really. So
brilliant.
Yes, they were not the adults in the situation.
Have you got anything big lined up for the next year or so?
Well, I'm just finishing off this tour. I'm scoring a film, and what else am I doing? Writing a book.
What film's that? Who will you be starring
with?
with?
I can't tell you much about it, actually,
Okay.
so sorry.
Top secret.
But yeah, I'll come back next year and tell you all about it.
Okay.
But no, so I'm doing that, and I'm also writing an autobiography, which is something
what
fun.
will that be titled?
What do you think the publishers want to call it?
I think we know.
Yes, exactly.
So tell us a bit about your show tonight. Will it be a mixture of old and new, or do you want to concentrate on new material?
No, I kind of throw some old ones from kind of I did a film with Roger Daltrey back in the early 90s called Buddy's Song. So I've been kind of digging out those old songs and dusting them off, trying to remember the chords. Including the one and only, of course.
Good.
Which I'd be lynched if I didn't do. But as I said earlier, I'm a songwriter these days, so I kind of it's my chance to kind of play songs that I wrote as soon as like last week, if you know what I mean. And I have a latest album, so I do a few songs from that as well. And
sounds good.
It's kind of a musical journey, really. Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's very intimate.
Thank you.
Going to come down and check me out?
We are. We're all going to go. Thank you very much, Chesney.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
That's okay. Head on down to the Railway Inn to catch Chesney from 8 p.m. tonight. For your fill of entertainment news around Winchester, visit www.winol.co.uk. That's all for now. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.